Okay, so I'm going to share with you today one of the case study projects that I'm using for my PhD by practice, exploring the negotiation of shared spaces and collaborative architectural making as a catalyst for civic empowerment and social change in informal peri-urban settlements in India. The Quarry Classrooms project began in 2008 in Navi Mumbai as a partnering between students and researchers from London Met, a local NGO called ARFIN, stone quarry owners and migrant worker settlement families. So in July 2008, two students undertook a cultural and physical survey of around 25 temporary migrant quarry worker settlements along the previously unmapped 15 kilometre stretch of the Tana Bellapur quarry belt, which was established in the 70s. Exploring the city topography involves surveying the ground and collecting narratives. At the same time, ARFIN was setting up bridge classes, training local women to teach children to enable them to later enrol in the state education system. The classes were held in these temporary cramped dark rooms, so we began looking for potential sites for permanent new classrooms whilst establishing a programme. The aim of this project became focused on the creation of shared environments in transitional communities using methods of participatory design and making to link architectural endeavour with the process of establishing common ground within the communities. In 2009, we constructed two quarry classrooms in the settlements of Bab and Seth, shown here, and Tata Press. A process of learning through making is focused on the idea of collaboration and collective involvement, using the term negotiation to suggest the multiple reciprocal negotiations that operate within the horizons of involvement for praxis. This timeline diagram also charts my changing role over the course of the project, from architecture student to researcher and then finally PhD. Through community meetings and workshops, we use different tools of imagining, representing, engaging and collaborating together, which would later develop into a method and way of shared making. So we used games and the notion of play to engage children in the process of constructing the classroom. A collaborative spirit can be formed through commitment through several parties to achieve something, and only happens when people care and or are interested in that something and where goals are realistic. Constructing the classrooms was challenging, given the remote location of the settlements at the base of the quarries and scarcity of water and electricity. The classrooms were designed to be in keeping with local quarry vernacular, using local existing skills and materials, including stone from quarries, shown here. The idea of a coalition of the willing can be used as a way of getting different people involved in a collaborative process, engaging with decisions at a particular time and stage of the development of the project. In order to engage constituents at various levels of interaction and enable them to take control, it's important to provide knowledge and be explicit throughout the process. And throughout the process, residents shared their local knowledge and experiences of living in the quarry extreme sort of environmental conditions of the settlements, influencing the development of the building design as it progressed. So what began as a raised platform soon gained a mid-level wall, followed by a steel truss structure, and then a corrugated plastic roof. The importance of building on the familiar and with the local goes alongside ensuring fit, engaging experimentally, proceeding incrementally, and establishing competence as well as accepting a duty of care. The second classroom shown here involved us casting around and investigating new territories, establishing what is typical and what is not, whilst adapting the narrative to new physical and cultural contexts within different conditions. So opening ceremonies were held at both settlements. 200 local residents attended and 3 keys were handed out at each classroom. This was done in public at the inauguration to ensure fair use and access to the building. The opening of the classroom celebrated newly shared territories, representing new practices and marking change through building institutions. At Bab and Seth, the sacred centre of the temple square, shown here on the left, represents the collective values and beliefs of the migrant workers. The proximity of the new classroom to the existing temple space and the conscious decision to link the two at the centre has created an extension bringing together sacred and secular places. The classroom building creates a notion of a public setting to which the community can commit itself and in turn discover itself as a collective, with a shared political voice, ambitions and opportunities beyond subsistence. As a result of the classroom construction, children now have a route into state education. The classrooms provide a permanent space for bridge classes and nursery groups to take place daily, and often are now in the process of setting up adult literacy classes to extend the reach of education in the settlements. Other activities, such as religious festivities and local weddings, also take place, as well as the introduction of sewing classes that you can see here for women. The classroom spaces are also used to further the work of ARFIN in setting up women's self-help groups and savings groups, as well as providing an accessible space to hold temporary health screening camps and awareness programs. In the context of the quarry settlement landscape, this project has been about testing the boundaries, negotiating the edges, and crafting adjacencies. In lifting horizons, we are making new spatial connections, consolidating local institutions, and broadening the spatial paradigm. In 2011 and 12, two new concreted pathways and formalised drains were constructed in settlements by the local corporate, the authority. Permanent housing, such as this, was constructed by the quarry owner for workers soon after. And in January this year, new street lighting was also installed, followed by water taps. So in the last few years, we've been seeing a move from temporary to permanent in the settlement fabric, as well as new connections linking to the city infrastructure. In inviting a civic presence to the quarry settlements, migrant workers without basic rights to the city are now looking towards becoming established and recognised citizens of the city. Thanks.